Get Rich Slow with John Wolf. Hey, today I'm going to show you how to compare two different written offers from two different lenders. And I'm going to use a real example here, which is why you're going to see some red marks, because this is specifically not an ad. I want to show you how to read the actual closing costs correctly between two offers. Also, if you're watching this video, it's really important that you go back and watch my intro to price shopping home loans. If you're going to do a conventional loan, please also watch my conventional loan basics and shopping. And if you're going to do a VA, which is the example I'm showing you, or an FHA loan, go back and watch my government loan basics and my VA and FHA loan video. But let's jump right into it. Let's look at some quotes. So here's a quote. It's a real one that I got from a client for Veterans United. And I actually want to do a positive shout out for Veterans United. They are probably the only internet lender that is not a total clown car. They're one of the very, very best in the business at that. So right here, you see I have a couple things redded out. I don't really want you to know what the interest rate or the APR is. So I had to block off the total payment and the principal interest payment in case you actually do the math to back compute it. And that's just because this is specifically not an ad, and I don't want to directly reveal if my offer or their offer was a better deal. I just want you to understand how to actually read it. So when you actually look at it for real, notice the interest rate, notice the APR. I talked about that in a previous video. If we both did our quotes correctly, all of these numbers should be the same in the middle here. But let's talk about the actual closing costs, because that's the meat of this. So you have type A, type B costs, and then there's C and D. The A and the B are the only costs that vary at all between lenders. In reality, everything else is an estimate, and that's just a varied estimate, and you will absolutely pay the exact same dollar C and D costs between two different lenders if you're closing the same house on the same day every time. And it will be exactly the same in Oregon. There is a slightly more variance possible in some other states. So anyways, what is a cost A? So a Section A cost is a direct fee for getting your loan. And you're always going to pay the full dollar amount as shown here. And the only difference between a cost A and a cost B is the Section B is a real fee for a real service. So, here they have $800 for the appraisal. Appraisal is probably going to cost $800, but if for whatever reason it only costs $700, then you only pay $700. So if you just add up all the Section A costs, you get, as long with the Section B costs on this one, you get $7,027.76. Now, this Veterans United quote is laid out really differently than mine. So to find the Section A cost, they have the origination fee, and they actually rolled most of the Section B costs into this. They are charging a discount point, which, remember on the previous video I talked about points. So they're charging this guy $4,500 up front to buy a lower interest rate. And then what I think is kind of funny is they're also giving him a credit, a coupon, for basically $1,300. I have never charged someone a credit and charged them a discount point at the same time, because it's like a positive number and a negative number. So you actually subtract this number from this number and then add that to get their Section A and B costs, and that's all that matters. If you look at the title insurance costs, just compared to what I'm going to show you next, you're going to see a slight variation. And mine is missing this aggregate adjustment. That's something that the title company does later, and my number would be exactly the same as theirs. So just moving on, Section C is all the title things. Section D is all of your prepaids. And then this total estimate at the end is actually going to be wrong if you want to compare them between two lenders, because it includes the title and the closing cost estimates, which at the end of the day, when you actually get your house, they'll be the same between any two lenders, but it's very unlikely that two lenders are going to estimate the same number, because we're going off of just different guesses. Okay, so this is my quote for the same guy, same house. And you notice I have Section A cost right here. I have a processing fee and an underwriting fee instead of just the one fee that they lumped all together. And then I have a bunch of Section B costs. And those, again, are real direct services. And the other lender just rolled all the Section A and B together except for the appraisal. And then if you actually look at these Section C numbers, my numbers are different, but it doesn't matter because you'll pay the exact same thing either way. And my D is basically the same, but I actually guess slightly differently on that too. So you notice my total cash to close for the borrower at the end is a lower number. But if you actually add up the Section A and B costs, I get $3,511.45, and Veterans United was $7,000, so that there is an upfront difference in closing costs, a real one, of $3,516. Now, again, purposely not showing you the interest rate or APR because that would make this an ad. I want to kind of also show you, this is what's called a good faith estimate, both of these, and they're cut off so that it doesn't show any of the client information. Here is what's called a loan estimate. And again, I cut it off so it didn't show client information. And this is a real one for a real person, but you don't know any of the facts about it, which is why it's okay for me to show you this, because I want you to see what a full one looks like. By the way, I just typed in 4.5%. That's not a quote at all, but I needed to fill in the math for you. So anyways, you have loan amount, interest rate, you get what the payment is out of that. This thing breaks down what the payments are going to be over time. And then here it shows, the taxes and everything. And here's the estimated closing costs. Now, when you see this number, don't freak out because a lot of times that's not the check you actually have to write. This estimated cash to close is the check you actually have to write. And this is what the second page looks. This is where those A and B numbers come from. In a loan estimate, the federal government kind of dictates how this is all laid out. But in the loan estimate, or the good faith agreement, good faith estimate, which is what I showed you before, it doesn't have to be laid out like this. So this is the loan charge. You got all of these services that you can't shop for, but these are real costs. You got the Section C stuff, the title, and this is a totally different transaction, and the prepaids and the estimates, and everything from C on is an estimate, and you're going to pay whatever the correct cost is, and it'll be absolutely the same dollar amount, again, between any lender, as long as you're closing on the exact same house on the exact same day. And down here is all the totals. The reason that it's so low on this one, just so you know, is this is actually a Washington zero down loan I was showing. And if you watched my video on zero down programs in and around Portland, you actually saw that 4.5% and where that came from. And then the seller on this one is actually doing seller credit. So this person, the cost it's showing is $1,600 basically total cost to close on the house. And that can easily be paid by most people's 1% or less earnest money. So it's pretty cool. And this is actually an overestimate. All right, so that is the basics of actually comparing a written offer. The parts I obviously covered up were the interest rate, the APR, and the payment, because if I showed you the payment, you could go back and calculate it. And this is specifically not an ad. Don't kick me off, guys. Anyways, I'm a mortgage lender in Oregon and Washington. You can reach me on my website in the description. And if you just want to support people get more educated and knowing how to look at this stuff, like, share, subscribe this video. Huge disclaimer I want to give about this. There's one more video I'm going to show you about price shopping, and it is crazy important to this whole discussion. Little bit of information is a dangerous thing, and there's a big but I need to explain in another video. Have an awesome day. Bye.